Hi, Amela, and welcome to another Dice Tower preview. Today, let's dive into the world of Disney's Sorcerer's Arena, Epic Alliance's core set. In this game, you will be assembling a team from the Disney and Pixar universes that will outmatch your rivals. This is a game for 2 to 4 players that plays in around 35 minutes for ages 13 and up. It's designed by Sean Fletcher and published by The Op. The rules for Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliances is presented in chapters that helps you learn the game at a friendly pace. I'll be going through the full experience or Chapter 4 in this video. Each player in the game is a summoner competing in the Sorcerer's Arena tournament. As a summoner, they have a team of characters they control. To start the game, each summoner selects a team of 3 different characters. They can also draft their characters. To draft, you choose a Summoner A. This first player can be the person who recently watched a Disney movie, or if you played the game already, the person who last lost. Then Summoner B chooses, then Summoner A until each player has 3 characters. Then each summoner also gets character standees, character ability cards, character deck, turn order tiles, summoner indicator rings, blue or red, and a reference card. Set up the arena and your play area like this. Each summoner is also secretly choosing the order of their characters. You stack them, then reveal them at the same time. Now compare the sand timer number on the first character in the stack, and whoever has the lowest number, their team goes into the 1st, 3rd, and 5th positions, while the other team takes 2nd, 4th, and 6th. Now check the hand size shown on the 3 character ability cards, and that is the number of cards you draw to start the game, and the max number of cards you can hold at the end of your turn. Now let's play the game. During your turn, only one of your characters is active. Each player will go through a turn until all of their characters have been active, and then the round ends. Now the game ends when at the end of the round a team scores their 20th victory point, or a summoner needs to draw a card but there's no more cards in their deck. On a character's turn, you go through a starting phase and a main phase. In the starting phase, first thing you check is status effects. A status effect is a temporary effect that is either positive or negative and may last for 1 or more rounds. They can also be constant or active at all times, or triggered, only activated when a status counter is removed. For example, Magic Broom is a triggered effect. The next step is claiming 1 VP if your character is standing on one of these victory spaces. You then check if the active character is KO'd or knocked out. You return the character to the arena of battle and restore their full HP. Let me talk about HP. So hit points is the amount of life that your character has. It slowly ticks down when you get hit by opponents. When it reaches 0, a character gets knocked out of the arena. This is one of the best ways to earn victory points. For example, if you KO Gaston, you get 6 victory points. Very awesome. Now the last part of the starting phase is drawing 1 card from your deck. Your deck is made by shuffling all the cards of your characters together. I'll talk more about these cards in the next phase, called the main phase. During the main phase, you can move, do an action, use your skills, and upgrade your character. These can be completed in any order or skip. The important thing to remember is each is a phase on its own, meaning you do your movement, then do an action, then maybe use a skill. You can't, for example, stop a movement, use a skill, and then move again. Let's talk about movement first. You can choose to do one of these 2 things. You can use a standard movement, up to the number of spaces shown on your character's ability card. You may also first discard any 1 movement card to add 1 to your standard movement. Instead of taking a standard movement, you can also play a movement card, corresponding to your active character. Just follow the text written on the card, as there are other special things you can do on top of moving. For example, in Entrancing Approach, Maleficent moves up to 3 spaces. Then if they are on a space with this symbol, you can move one character 1 space. Then there's action. You may choose to do one of 2 things. Use the standard attack, which may result in the amount of damage indicated on your character's ability card. You may also first discard any 1 attack card to add 1 to your standard attack for the phase. Instead of a standard attack, you may play an action card corresponding to your active character. For example, if you play Ariel's Trident Strike, you deal 2 damage to an adjacent opponent, but also you reveal a top card of your deck. If it is an attack card, you deal 1 damage to each of your rivals adjacent to that rival. Let's go to using your character's skills. Each character has 1 or more skills that may be used once each in any order. For example, Aladdin has 1 jump ahead and Thief's Cure. In between these phases, you can use gears to upgrade your character. On each battle card is a symbol in the lower right corner. These represent magical objects called gears, of which there are 4 kinds: fire, heart, shell, and wind. Once a card is in your discard pile, you have collected that card's gear. Different characters need a set of gears to do an upgrade. For example, Mickey needs these gears. Use the gears and flip the ability card to get a more powerful Mickey. It is now possible for them to draw more cards given the right conditions. After you've completed or skipped each of the main phases, you may end your character's turn. Always remember to discard down to your maximum hand size. I talked about the different chapters in the game that will help you learn the game at a more friendly pace or play the game with younger or less experienced players. In the first chapter, players can choose between playing Mickey and Aladdin or Gaston and Ariel. You also follow an allotted turn order with Mickey going first, then Ariel, then Aladdin, then Gaston. Turn order, by the way, is indicated by this token here. The character with the token is the active character. You also only use 3 status effects: Magic Broom, Immobilized, and Stealthy. The number of VPs you need to win is also lower at 12 victory points. Once you've played this intro game a couple of times, you can move on to Chapter 2, which adds 3 characters instead of 2. Standard movement and attacks can be increased by discarding cards, and the final round is triggered by a player by reaching 20 victory points. In Chapter 3, you then introduce character ability cards, which changes the hand size. There will also be changes to standard movement and attack values for characters, and you also introduce the skills phase. In Chapter 4, which is the full game, this is where upgrading is introduced. And before I forget, there's also an option for team play, where each team has 4 characters and 2 summoners. Each summoner handles 2 characters on their team. So overall, there are many ways to learn, play, and enjoy Sorcerer's Arena. And that was a preview of Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliances core set. There is already an expansion announced called Turning the Tide, which adds cool new characters to play with. I'll drop the link to both games in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.